What's up guys, Tim Ruswick here from Game Dev Underground. I'm running out of light here, but I just wanted to make a quick video that I got a request from about how to deal with negative family members. And we're going to expand that to kind of negative friends or people around you in your circle that you're kind of stuck with. So my experience with this has been, it goes back years and years and years. My family has been, they're supportive to an extent, but they don't understand what I did. No one's really ever understood me from my family side. Some worse than others, but for the most part, I've had to deal with a lot of negative people, and negative people are never fun. A couple things that I can remember just to kind of get you to understand what it's like is, for one, if nothing you do is ever good enough, right? Like, if you do something and you want to share it with this person because, like, hey, it's awesome to you, you want to explain how excited you are to create this project or do this thing, and they say something negative about it, or they say, oh, you know, maybe you should do something with your life that's, you know, not that. For me, the thing that used to piss me off is someone would always say, are you making money from it? Did you make any money from it? Did you make any money from it? And I grew up in a family kind of entrepreneurs, I guess. So that was, as an artist, I guess, that kind of really always frustrated me, because I always wanted to create things to create. And when I would show these things to certain people in my family, I would just be like, are you making money from that? Are you making money from that? And I'd be like, look, I don't give a fuck about the money. I created this thing. Like, yeah, but it's not making money, so therefore it's like worthless. And it was just, it was so frustrating to me. It was so frustrating. It used to anger me legitimately. And I'm a very calm, stable person, but that is one of the few things that would get under my skin. The did you make money from it yet? But not only that, but then the never being good enough thing. Like, one person specifically, like, no matter what I did, it just wasn't good enough. I would get no like good job, or no, you know, I'm proud of you, or anything. And not that you should need that, but that's always nice to get from someone that you pour your heart out to, and you share these things that are important to your life. And it's also good to know that people support you regardless of the things that you choose to do in life. And for me, I don't think anybody really saw my path or where I was going, and I think they did it out of love, because they love me and they wanted me to be successful as a person. But they constantly tried to tell me to just stop and get a job, or just, you know, that's cool that you want to make games, Tim, that's cool that you want to do that, but, you know, you got computer skills, you can get an IT job, you know, you could do this, you could do that. And that gets to you after a while, right? Like, Jesus Christ, man, these people, like, just, why do they have to be so negative in my life? Like, why can't somebody just say, hey, Tim, that thing that I don't understand at all, I believe you can fucking do it. Good job, go, buddy. And I didn't get that anywhere in my life. And for a long time, I was, like, angry, right? Like, I was angry at my family. I was angry at my friends and the people around me that just weren't supportive. But then I kind of realized, like, yo, this is all my fault, first of all, because one, the people that were negative I kept sharing stuff with, which was insane. But two, the people that were supportive, it's like almost like their support didn't matter as much as some of the other support did. Like, the specific support of the people that wouldn't give it to me was always way more important than the people's whose support I could get easily. And I guess that's kind of like one of those grass is always greener things, where you constantly want the things that you don't have, right? Like, I wanted this approval, I guess, from the people that wouldn't give it to me, which I think it's a normal human thing. But anyway, so it took me a long time to figure all this out and navigate this whole weird web of all this stuff. And I realized, like, for this one person specifically that just was always negative, and, like, I felt like they dragged me down so much, and no matter what I would say, it wouldn't be good enough. I had to leave, and I had to get out of there. I had to get away from this person. That is the number one thing that I would say. If you have negative people in your family and they don't support what you're doing, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter even if they love you, but they don't support you in that way, it's still negative. Like for me, I had very loving parents. They loved me to death, but they didn't support what I was doing. They didn't understand it, and they thought that their path was better for me than it was for me. And I love my parents, but it was the same thing, with my sister. She always had a better understanding of who I should be than I was, and I had to get away from it. That's the number one thing you can do. Just get away. I know that sounds simple, and yet at the same time is very, very complex, especially if you live with your parents or the person, or it's a relationship, or it can be all sorts of things. And it's just, you got to get away. That's tip number one, because I think that's the most effective. And eliminating them from your life allows you to kind of recoup and become who you want to be. A lot of times we as human beings, we stay on negative paths because the people around us expect us to stay on our path. And I've noticed a couple times in my life that when I've eliminated certain people from my life, I feel like I have this fresh new start on life. Like I can reinvent myself now because I'm not being judged, or I'm not being held to that person that I used to be, because I can go and I can become whoever I want to be and then meet new people to support that. So kicking them out of your life is definitely number one. If you can't do that, which I completely understand, there's sometimes where you just can't eliminate them from your life for whatever reason. And that's when you want to limit time around them. That's number two. So for a long time I lived with a very toxic person, and it was very damaging to my health. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, not just not being supportive, but always thinking that their way for me was better than my way was, and it was not supportive at all, and I felt like I had to defend my choices of what I was doing and why I was doing it, and I could not escape at that point in time. So one of the things that I did, I just limited my time around them. I would spend a lot of time away from the house, or in Starbucks, or in wherever I would work. I had a little office. I would close the door. I would lock it. I would spend a certain amount of time. I kind of adapted my sleep schedule a bit so that it wasn't exactly the same as the other person, so we didn't have to interact a lot. That did wonders for my mental health too. I think that improved the situation a lot, and it really allowed me to get somewhere with that. And so the third final thing that I would say is just to set healthy boundaries. I think a lot of people, one of the reasons why negative people affect them so much in their life and their family is because they don't set healthy boundaries for what kind of shit they'll take and what kind of shit they won't. And people in your life can have a habit of just walking all over you, and that gives you the sense of, I don't have control over my life, or my life sucks, or this person sucks, or they just suck the life out of me, they tear it out of me. A lot of that comes from not having healthy boundaries. When you have a boundary and you say, hey, at this point I will not allow anybody to cross. For example, it might be borrowing money or something like that. If you have a boundary where you'll loan someone money once, and if they don't pay you back, you won't loan them money again, and everyone knows that that's your boundary, that's your limit, that's where you stop, you're not gonna borrow money, you're not gonna lend money to anybody. No one is gonna get money out of you, because that's your boundary. The problem comes when people walk over our boundaries and we let them. So for me, these people would creep into my life. These people would tell me, hey, they know better than me about what I should do and all this other stuff. They would tell me that I should get a job. They should tell me that I should do these other things. Having healthy boundaries and knowing where the limit was to accept that criticism, or not even the criticism, but accept the treatment, or the just that negativity, I would make it very clear that I wasn't going to accept it. And that helps a lot of it. It trains the people around you on how to treat you. And if anybody is halfway intelligent, they'll pick up on it. They'll understand that, hey, this is not something that you want to push here, because they're not going to get anywhere. If they continue and try and push your boundaries, they're not a healthy person to be around. And like I said, you should, for number one, get away from them, or number two, limit your time around them if you can't get away from them. But number three is definitely you want to maintain healthy boundaries. Like, you want to say, okay, this is my bubble. Don't come in my bubble. Don't talk about these things. These are things that I'm passionate about and that I love. And these negative people around me, you know what? You're in my life. I can't get you out of my life, but you cannot cross this boundary. And you got to make that known. You got to be very firm on that too, because there's plenty of people that will walk all over you. They'll try and break it. They don't like that, especially when you start changing. These people do not like the idea that you're going to change and you're going to become a better person, and you might leave them and rob them of their significance. Because a lot of times, a lot of this negativity and criticism comes from the fact that they get significance from telling you these things, or that you should do this, or you should do that, or you should, or they're not supportive of you because they feel like they get significant when they tell you how you should run your life. So those are the three things that I would say that to really help with negative people. There's no way to really fix it. There's no cure-all solution. There's no magic bullet, but there are a couple things that you can do. I mean, the best thing for me was just getting away from it. Becoming my own person, eliminating those people from my life. It really helped me a lot as a person. It really helped me grow. It really helped me kind of breathe a new breath of life and reinvent myself. But I understand if you can't do it. And I've since developed a sense of very healthy boundaries, and I think a lot of the people in my life see that now, and they know that they can't affect me negatively in those ways, so they don't even try. And if they do, they get shut down, and they know that. And I think that has really improved the quality of my life drastically. So that's what I'd recommend. If you've got negative people in your life, leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your story. If you did anything to get rid of them, or they're still in your life, let me know either way, because I want to kind of learn and see how I can help out. But once again, I'm Tim Ruswick. I will see you guys in the next video.